Hello everyone, welcome back to Jenna Knits. My name is Jenna and I like knitting. Today we're going to have some funky lighting because I am up in our bedroom. This is kind of where my domain has been for the last couple of weeks. And oh, here you go. Today we are going to be talking whips. We're going to be showing off some beautiful baby gifts that we got, and we're going to do a little bit of a knit-in chat. I thought would be fun. I have made a ton of progress on 3 different projects, 2 of which I am almost at. One I'm out of yarn, the other one I'm almost out of yarn, the other one I have enough yarn. So I'm kind of working my way to running out of yarn so that when I have to go buy yarn, I can just buy it for all 3 projects and then not have to go back for a little while, because when you have kids, running errands takes a lot of effort, and I would rather knock it all out all at once instead of having to go every single weekend to go get yarn. So I'm going to talk to you guys about 2 baby gifts that I got that were handmade. They're 2 crochet projects. So the first one is this beautiful chevron-y blanket, zigzaggy blanket that my girlfriend crocheted in this super squishy beigey color and super squishy creamy color, and it's massive. I mean, I could honestly sit here and cuddle with it, and I probably will. It's an amazing size, super stretchy, very, very, very soft. And so that was a wonderful surprise. I ended up hand knitting her one of the chunky knit blankets. So she ended up kind of doing a swap. I made her this really pretty, like really pale pink. She also had a girl, so I did a really pale pink one, and she says it's like perfect for bath time because it's super squishy and it washes really well and everything. So it's just like a good base to lay the baby on because it's like a tiny mattress because that yarn is so thick. But she made me this gorgeous blanket and I love it, and we've used it quite a bit already. And then this one is from my mom's cousin, and I am just madly in love with this one. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is from my mom's cousin Amy, and she has an Etsy shop, so I can link all of her stuff down below because she's incredibly talented. We just got this in the mail the other day and we've already used it a lot downstairs, but she made this beautiful rainbow blanket, and she actually made, I love just the little pom-poms that she crocheted on there. I think it's just so beautiful. And on the back it's obviously just the solid, but she also, I should have pulled it out, she crocheted a blanket for Jack as well when we had him. And it was in all these really beautiful like reds and creams and burgundies, and it's a beautiful blanket, and that was like our #1 blanket when we had Jack. But I didn't pull that one out. Next time I'll show you guys that one because that one is very beautiful as well. Completely different concept of this one, and this one's just super fun and very, very fitting color palette wise to what we kind of have going on in her room. Oh yeah. And yeah, so these are the 2 crochet gifts that we got, and they are really beautiful. You know, handmade gifts are always like so much more meaningful, and they're almost like they're like an heirloom gift. They're something that you keep forever. And blankets that you buy at the store, you know, they come and they go, but the ones that are homemade, you end up keeping. What is the matter? What's wrong? What's wrong? I know you're tired. Next, we're gonna get into whips. Ooh. She's very squeaky, and I'll talk about that when we start knitting. Let's start with the whip that I ran out of yarn for already. So I am making the Swift tank, which will magically appear here. And I am using, wow, I am not as far along in this project as I thought it was. It's been a couple weeks since I picked this one up. Thought I was way further along than I am before I ran out of yarn. I am using the Lang Liza in their cream colored and mixing that with Oh my gosh. The Amano is the name of the brand, and the color is Aini. So this is 80% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and then the Liza, I think, is a silk blend as well. Okay, so it is 70% bamboo, 20% merino wool, and 10% silk. So this is the same combo that I did for my Not Quite Cable skirt, and I'm really liking the way it's knitting up so far. I like how tall the ribbing is before you get into the stockinette. This is just a very basic tank top. I have not made it before. I haven't made it before, but I've had it saved in my Pinterest board for a long time, and I have this great bamboo yarn, and I want to be able to utilize it and have it for the warmer months that are coming up. We did just get a crazy drop in temperature, but it doesn't last very long. So we start getting warm again in like March, February time frame, and I really just want to have some of my spring knits ready to go. Sometimes we get warm in January, so I wanted to have some kind of spring knit ready to go, just to have it. The bamboo is very wicking, the silk is very soft, the merino is very wicking, and so I thought that those blends together for a tank top would be great because I've already used it with the skirt, and I know how comfortable and breezy and beachy and drapey that turned out, and so I thought putting that in a top garment would be really, really nice. This little cute sea bag Cameron got me as part of one of my push presents. So it's got, like, we live on an island, and so everything's like super beachy, and so I got this little funky tote bag. What is the matter? What's wrong? The next whip is one you've already seen, but I've made a ton of progress on it, and I'm finally almost out of yarn. But it is the Anker Sweater for my husband, which I've said before, knitting for somebody who is much more broad and tall than you is a labor of love, because this is taking a very long time. I wanted to have this one done by October, but it's looking like it's gonna be a Christmas present. But I've gotten so much done. I have divided for the arms, and this is the Petite Knit pattern for the Anker Sweater. I'm knitting a large with the Rowan tweed, and yeah, so I have divided for the arms. I am finally in the body, and it's looking like something. It's looking like something. And I'm excited about that, to at least be away from the yoke a lot, actually. I'm like really far away from the yoke now. And it's just turning out so nice. Like, it looks really pretty, and I feel like this is going to be the best one because I've never done a seamless sweater before. So mine isn't the best one. Mine has quite a few more drop stitches, and like the armpits are kind of weird. And then my son's turned out really, really nice, and my daughter's turned out really, really nice. So I feel like all these trial and errors, like he's gonna end up with the best one because I've just been kind of practicing on each one, and now top-down sweaters are gonna be nothing because I've made so many in such a short period of time. But this one's turning out beautiful. This is what I will be knitting with the Knit and Chat in a couple of minutes. But I want to show you one more. So, hi. You don't want to cuddle. You just need a cuddle. Oh, I know. I know. When we got home from the hospital, my husband Cameron took our son out to the yarn store and bought some Knitting for Olive yarn, which I have never played with, but he also got me her book. And so with this book, I originally wanted to use this yarn to make the Simple and Simple sweater, and then I realized I didn't have enough yarn, and then I was like, ooh, I'll make the olive vest. And then I started knitting the olive vest, and I went, I don't understand what this pattern is saying. And so I went ahead, and I had already had the collar done for the vest. And then I realized that the collar has the same amount of stitches that the Anker Sweater started off with. And so what I would do is I would just have this nice fat collar and then follow the Anker Sweater pattern without doing 1 by 1 rib. So just do the same amount of increases, and then I would have the same fit sweater. So, makes sense. I think that makes sense. I think the math is mathing there. What I didn't put into account is the fact that I was using 4mm needles. What size needles am I using for you? What size needles are you? I think they're 4s instead of 7s. So I'm using up a lot of yarn on this bad boy. But yeah, I'm using 3.5mm, so size 4 needles. And I'm pretty confident that the Anker Sweater that I made for myself was using 7s. So, which is okay, making a different sweater, essentially, making a different sweater. Anyways, that's where my math is on this. I'm using these size 4 needles and using the same calculations to the Anker Sweater with the collar of the olive vest. Because I just got overwhelmed. I'm not early in a headspace. I haven't been in a headspace to learn a new technique, and the olive vest was requesting things that I wasn't familiar with pretty much straight out the gate after the collar. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do something that's familiar and just do a stockinette sweater. And honestly, I love it. What are you doing, Bean? Yeah. So he bought me the unicorn yarn. So I got merino and the mohair. Now I know I said in previous videos that I don't think I would ever work with mohair again. Well, upon doing some mohair research, there's a lot of different mohairs out there. And the mohair that I used was Wool in the Gang previously. And it was so itchy. So itchy. I hated knitting with it. I was 10 out of 10 not a fan, to the point where in a video I swore off all mohair. Now, upon doing some mohair research and watching some videos and people talking about how they pick their mohairs, I have now learned that I need to do an itch test. I didn't even know that was a thing before, but I think I saw Kika. I love her channel, but she will stand in the store and do an itch test for like, well, it seems like minutes to make sure that this is a mohair that's going to feel good on my skin. And so this is what this is turning into. So I have, kind of hard to show you, I have my collar, and I'm debating keeping it as a collar or folding it in as a collar. I'm really not sure. Ooh, I kind of like the way that looks on camera though. I'm really not sure which one I'm going to do until the end, but I'm just a couple rows away from starting my raglan stitches, and I think it's going to be really, really nice. It feels amazing, and it's funny that my husband chose this color because when we first started dating, it had a very pale, like lavender sweater is what I wore on our first date, and I still have it. It's his favorite sweater. It has been beaten. It's like 8 years old now, and it was just like a TJ Maxx sweater, but it was really nice, and it was cropped, and it had like, you know, puffy sleeve. It was very, very cute. I'll probably wear it on here because I wear it all the time. But so he picked the pale purple so that I could make my own pale purple sweater because he loves me in this color so much. I do have like really blue eyes and I'm blonde, and so these kind of like not quite pastels, these more icy colors do work really well on me. I don't think they wash me out too much. There's some colors where that's not gonna work, but this one I think is gonna look really nice. I'm hoping that the sizing is going to work. It looks like it's going to. It just might be a tad bit more snug than the Anker Sweater, which I'm okay with because so I tried on my Anker Sweater, and I was obviously very, very pregnant when I was knitting that, so it was very hard to try it on and see exactly where things were going to be. It was also a little bit heavier too, so the fitting in my arms and in my chest and everything like that all felt different than they do now. So I put it on the other day, and it is very cropped, which is okay. I don't mind it. I do have I did just buy some elastic yarn to kind of help the ballooning that's happening at the bottom. I don't love the way that that looks, but it is very cropped, and so I need to get some new pants. I don't have any pants that fit right now. Obviously, I just had a baby, so I'm just wearing leggings. But it is super cropped, and when I had tried it on and blocked it, it reached my wrist, like right where I want it. And then I put it on the other day, and it's literally like a 3/4 sleeve. I don't know how that happened. I might try blocking it again and see if I can get a little bit of stretch out of it, but I don't really think I'm going to. I don't know how that happened. So there's that. It's kind of a bummer, but it is still super cute. I am still gonna wear it a lot. One thing I don't love about the pattern specifically, is that, and it could just be this, I don't think it's the size that I did, but it does like ride up a lot. I wish that there were some, I think short rows is what would cause this, like an actual collar, instead of it being like all one thing. Does that make sense? I'll have to just try it on for the next video, because I feel like it's fitting me weird, and it might just be me just being weird with my body right now. I'm not really sure, you know, it probably is. The sweater's probably fine. I'm just having like what fits me, what doesn't fit me right now things with my body. So hopefully that doesn't last that long. Those are my 3 whips. That's what I'm doing. I have those 3. I've got the Swift tank. I have my Knitting for Olive / Petite Knit / Jenna knits pattern. And then I have, of course, the Anker sweater that I am hopefully going to finish up soon. I don't know. I have this much yarn left, so I am going to need to take a trip here pretty soon, just to keep knocking this one out. The fact that it's just stockinette for a really long time, I can start to get into a point where my husband can try it on, and I can see exactly how much more of the body I need to do. But I know for right now, I do have quite a bit to do on this bad boy. Now, I wanted to do a knit and chat, but she's currently sleeping in my arm. So let's see if I can scooch her. And we just knit and talk for a few minutes, do a little life update, you know. Ankle baby girl. Oh, so cozy. Yeah, so cozy. Okay, so first of all, I appreciate everybody sending me messages and comments wishing me good luck on labor and delivery, and congratulating us after our daughter was here. And I've been doing my best to post, but it's been a little bit tricky. So we were in the hospital, and I did have to be induced because I had something called prodromal labor, which means essentially your body thinks it's in labor, so you have every symptom of being in labor without the perks of progressing. And so that started at the beginning of September. And so I was having contractions that were 3 minutes apart for an entire day, and then the next day they would be 5 minutes apart, and then they would be 7 minutes apart, and then they would be feeling like I'm about to give birth, but nothing was progressing dilation wise, so they couldn't do anything with me. It was just I was in labor, but I wasn't in labor. And so it became so painful, and I have a 2-year-old as well, and I'm a very active toddler mom, and so life just became very tricky, even though we were living with my in-laws. So I did opt to be induced early, and we went in, we were in the hospital parking lot, and they called and said, hey, we don't have room for you, call back at this time and we'll see if we have a room. And so I called back a couple hours later, and they said, just go ahead and go home, call us later this afternoon. We live an hour away from the hospital. And so we went home, and they were like, oh, sorry, we can't see you till tomorrow night. We were like, okay. We had all this anticipation on having the baby and thinking we were getting induced, and then it just got prolonged a little bit further. And then we went in for the induction, and with Jack's labor and delivery, it was very much meditative. I felt like I could breathe through everything. There was just this attitude in the air that was very positive and not scary. And you know, it was just, I had my doctor and everything was just great. Olivia was born the night that Hurricane Helene hit, and it hit our area pretty hard. So we were losing power while I was in labor. It was an excruciating labor. I do natural deliveries, and hers was unbelievable compared to Jack's, with reason. So she was born with her cord wrapped and a broken collarbone, and she was almost 9 pounds and 22 inches, so she was a healthy girl, which meant that I tore pretty good because she was a big girl. And so I tore with my son too, but this was a little bit different because she was so much bigger than him. Hi, buddy. Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing? And so that little squeak that you keep hearing is just a little bit of damage on her throat. It's not as bad as it was, but she did have a little bit of damage to her throat, so she had a hard time eating for the first couple of days. And because she had a broken collarbone, it was very hard for her to get comfortable latching and everything like that. So it's been a very tricky thing. So we did have to stay in the hospital for a couple extra days, and then just until she was actually eating something. And then 2 days after we were discharged, I started having complications and went and saw my midwife, and she referred me to a surgeon. And then the next day I see the surgeon, and the surgeon had to do an emergency surgery that same afternoon. So I won't go into details on the surgery, but it's been pretty excruciating. I've been literally living in this bed for the last almost 4 weeks, and the healing process is very slow with the type of surgery that I had, but each day I am getting a little bit better, trying my best to get a little bit better so that we can start finding a groove in the house, with the toddler and a baby and everything like that. Hi, hello. I am incredibly grateful that my husband has been able to be home. We did save all year for him to be able to take time off. His job doesn't allow paid time off, so you kind of have to do some math and figure out how long you can afford. Hoping that he'll be able to be home for 8 weeks. We'll play it by ear after my 6-week appointment, postpartum appointment, but I do have pre-op appointments in between that have shown some progress. I have another one next week that hopefully is good news. And it's just been a day-by-day situation. Some days have been way worse than others as far as pain, but I'm getting there. Luckily, I have a hobby that I don't have to move around for, and so I don't feel like I'm, missing out on a hobby that I love. I'm getting a lot of knitting done. What sucks is that I'm not able to really see my son that much. The house is very much divided. My husband takes our son during the day, and then at night he takes Olivia. And I just pump so that he has bottles, but not being able to be super cohesive in the house has been really hard. And it's been really hard on our son too, to not have me around as much, because I am a stay-at-home mom. Him not understanding that, like, I can't run, I can't play, I can't pick you up, I can't help you do X, Y, and Z. I have to lay down in the bed, because I can't really move that much, but I am doing better each day. So hopefully soon I can take him out on an adventure and just wrestle the crap out of him so that he knows that I'm good. I think it's more he's scared. He doesn't understand. So that's been tricky, but the transition of having a baby and a toddler, he is madly in love with her. So that is something that's huge in itself. There hasn't been any kind of jealousy moments, and it's been a couple of weeks. So that's huge. I just feel like I'm missing out on fun things with him, like pumpkin patches and just gardening and cooking and things that we like to do together, even going for walks. Just hasn't been possible yet, but we still have a lot of holidays coming up, so I won't feel like I'm missing too much, just missing October, unfortunately. Hi. But I just wanted to update you all a little bit, show you what I've been working on in this time, because I've had quite a bit of downtime. You know, newborns, they sleep a lot. You feed them and then they go to sleep, and then, you know, they wake up, you feed them, they go to sleep, for the most part. Hi, baby girl. Mwah. Mwah. Hi. So we've just been hanging out and knitting together and catching up on some podcasts, and hi. Yay. You're so beautiful. So yeah, I guess that's it for today's video. I'm going to show you all in the next video more whip updates. Hopefully I have a bit more done, but also show you all like my yarn stash and the tools that I use, and some future projects that I'm going to be starting very soon for Christmas gifts. So I am going to be starting the bird sweater pretty soon. I'm going to make one for Olivia and one for Jack, and then the Star Wars sweater is going to get cast on probably this next week. And then I have one more project for myself that I want to be starting as well. So I think I'm pretty comfortable balancing 3 at a time. You keep wanting to go down, and then you want back up, and then you want to go back down, and then you want to go back up. I'm gonna eat my hand. Okay, I gotta feed the baby. But if you guys like this knit and chat, this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.